Hello and welcome to another episode of Impractical Jokers, the fan podcast. This is Ashley.
This is Tiffany. Sorry, I'm eating ice cream.
Yes, she really is. Like, you are loving this ice cream right now.
Is this what we podcast about, is me eating ice cream?
It could be. I think people would listen about you licking spoons and stuff.
Anyway, we're here to talk about our Chicago trip.
First of all, Chicago happened like a month ago, but we've been so busy. AKA, you've been really busy. I have no life. This has been you, like, eating ice cream and hanging out and me just waiting. Because I'll literally be like, can we podcast like this day? And you're like, no, but I can do it a week from then. And I'm like, wait, what?
Let me pencil you in.
Yeah. And then that time comes, and for whatever reason, we're like, okay, it's not good. And I'm like, okay, when are you free again? Okay, 2 weeks from Tuesday. And I'm like...
A month from Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. I've just been patiently waiting to talk about Chicago because it was so much fun.
Okay, so...
Should we just start from the beginning and just talk about our, like, actual experience? Like, start from the beginning.
Okay, so the car ride there.
Well, first of all, we left from Ohio to meet Terry.
Twat language Terry.
Yeah, you all know her. And her husband...
Dan,
who does not listen to our podcast.
Bro.
Your mom's a hoe. And and we had to leave super early in the morning to meet.
We left at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's super early.
Yeah, I know.
Because I woke up at like 4 because I was like, I have to shower.
Technicality, really.
Yeah. So you insisted on driving there. It's like a, hour and a half to get there?
Yeah.
And as we're driving, Tiffany has one hand over one eye, and she's like, I can see better this way. And I'm like, what? And you're like, I think my contact fell out. Because my eyesight's really blurry right now. And I'm like, do you want to pull over and I'll drive? You're like, no, we're almost there. Bitch, we had like 45 minutes left. We were not almost there. So she's just driving like a pirate. With like one hand over your eye.
I was not driving like that the whole time.
She was. So we get there. You're still blurry-eyed, but Terry was driving. And
well, when we got there and we were getting ready to leave, I took my one contact out and got rid of it.
Yeah, you did, and just threw it.
Yeah, and then Terry drove us there. And remember, I was sleeping and I woke up and I'm like, guys, I'm really concerned because my vision is just not right.
It was to the point where you were getting worried.
Yeah.
Because you were like, something's wrong with my vision. And I kept saying, is your contact, like, still in your eyeball?
Well, I dug in my... First of all, Ashley does not like anybody playing with their eye.
I can't handle that. Yeah. So...
Ashley doesn't like anybody touching her eye.
I don't.
Their eye, not your eye.
Don't touch my eye, don't touch your own eye. The point of the story was you had a contact in your eyeball.
That I couldn't find until later.
Roaming around.
Yeah. I was really pissed because that meant I had to walk around with my glasses when I could have my contacts in.
Well, you could have fixed that contact, but you threw away the other one. Can we talk about when we got to Terry's house, we got out of the car and there was some man right there who happened to be Terry's husband, but I've never met him before, so I was like, oh my god. There's just random guy out at 4 a.m.
He had gloves on.
I was like, oh my god. Well, didn't I say, like, I thought I was going to have to fight you. He was so sweet, though. He didn't mean to scare us.
No, he was putting our bags in the car.
Yeah, he was nice enough to come out and get our bags, and I'm, like, trying to fight him. I'm like, well, I'm in a place I don't know. It's 5 a.m. and this guy's out with gloves on. Like, my spidey sense was going off. I thought we were about to get mugged.
While I was digging in my eye.
Anyway, so, pretty fun trip on the way there. We had a good time.
We crashed for the first, hour or so? 2 hours or so?
Then we got, our energy drinks.
Yeah.
It was like a 4.5 hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't bad at all. We got to our hotel, which was fun. It was a really nice hotel.
This was like a 5-star hotel that I found at Steel on.
Oh, a Steel?
Yes. Our shower in our hotel room, let me just tell you, damn.
We may or may not have just hung out with our clothes on. With our clothes on in the shower. It's getting weird.
It was one of those cool, completely see-through showers with, like, the big door and the big tub. I'm like, Ashley, we can take a shower at the same time.
We didn't. Anyway.
You even called your husband. He's like, no sexy time in the shower.
I was good enough to tell you, like, if you brought someone home, I would leave so you could go in the shower.
Yeah, I should have brought Q home.
Anyway.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go already.
All the Team Q girls are going to be at my throat.
Can we talk about the Uber driver on the way to the pinball tournament? I sat up front, and you and Terry and her husband sat in the back. And this guy was Russian. He had a thick Russian accent. Do you know what I'm getting at? And he started talking about how everything these days are organic. Organic milk. Organic cheese. Then he says...
Organic sex.
I think sex should be organic. I was like, well, you probably have to pay more for it. Like... I didn't know what to say. And you guys were all in the back being quiet. You fed me to the sharks. I'm just up there with him.
I was laughing.
Well, I couldn't hear you. Well, then he got lost. Well, he didn't get lost. He took a wrong turn. And we went 20 minutes out of our way. We passed the White Sox Stadium. You shouldn't have paid for that ride.
I don't even remember this.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Remember we went past the White Sox Stadium and he was like making these jokes about how he's like a tour guide now or something?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I kind of remember now.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing here? So anyways, we get to the pinball tournament and it's like a bar and then you go upstairs.
Yeah. Really small venue. Very small. It was
really small. Well, the craziest part is, just for reference, Tiffany's been on the cruise, but I've never met any of them before. I've seen their shows live, but I've never met them. As soon as we walk up the stairs,
Q was standing there.
Q walks right past me, and
Ashley, I swear to God, she pissed her pants.
I did not. But do you know the emoji with the heart eyes?
Mm-hmm.
That was me. Because something switched in my head, and I was just like...
Like, it was seriously no security, anything. Q just literally walked right past us and said, excuse me, to get past us. And Ashley was just, like, starstruck.
I froze. Well, and the funny thing is, you were like, he was waving to you. And I wasn't even looking at him.
You were, like, staring at him, and I'm like, we walked by, and he, like, waved at you. And I'm like, and he kind of, like, smiled. I think he maybe figured out that you were nervous, because they're really good about reading that.
I wasn't even nervous. I think I was just, like, dazed.
I'm like...
I don't even remember looking at him because you would, like, nudge me. You're like, he waved at you. And I'm like, what? And you were like... And then Terry was like, it looks like you were looking at him. And I was like, I was? It was bad. I turned into a completely different person.
Yeah, I've never seen you feel quiet.
I mean, right? Something. I'm telling you. It was amazing. Tiffany has finished the ice cream.
I'm kind of sad.
I will get you more.
I really am sad.
I will get you more.
I have nothing to look forward to.
We have a lot to look forward to.
No, I kind of feel like my life's over.
We're literally podcasting right now. I need you to get it together.
Sorry. So anyway.
Well, he did like... Is it not recording?
No?
I'm so mad at you.
Somehow it went all the way to the Dan Lawson interview. Oh, it's still recording!
Did you hear me? Wait, did it record all that or not?
Yes, it's still going.
What the fuck is going on? We're so computer stupid.
So anyway, Chicago.
Did it get all that?
Yeah, it's been
my...
recording the whole time. So anyway, you see.
I've totally lost track of what's happening in life. Okay.
So you ignored Q when he waved at you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Then you finished your ice cream. So sorry to bring up a sore subject. You looked sad when I said that. So a little line started forming, and that was like the first time I took a picture with him. But you talked to him, but I really didn't. I just kind of stood there, and then you were like such a good friend because you were like, okay, let's get a picture with you two? And I was like, oh yeah. And then I literally knees to chest ran to him.
That wasn't that time.
Yes, it was.
That was when he was sitting at the table. When you ran over to him.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first time I just kind of glided into his outreached arm.
And he like reached out to hug you, and you kind of like did the ass out hug, like.
Well, Terry goes, you do that cute thing that when girls have crushes, and you put her
leg popped.
Yeah, my foot popped when I hugged him, and I'm like, what? And then she showed me the picture. I was like, oh my god, I did not.
Ashley was on Q's dick the whole time.
I wasn't. Okay. No. I was just a little starstruck.
Okay.
Just a little starstruck.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. So, as far as, like, the whole pinball event was, like, whatever.
Well, like, they had stuff scheduled out for the day. Like, Q was supposed to do commentary on a couple episodes of Impractical Jokers, and Brian Johnson was supposed to do a couple of commentaries for Comic Book Men. But when you first came in, Q was standing right there talking to people, and I guess that took over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So they had to cut everything out, all of the activities that they had planned, but it was just kind of weird because
we were kind of waiting for the schedule to happen, which it was just disregarded.
Yeah, and like nobody told you anything. Like there was no communication.
It was like very unorganized. Yeah. So I just started drinking.
Yeah, it was like they pretty much they used Q to draw a crowd. Right. Is what happened, which was cool.
I don't think they're used to that type of a crowd for a pinball tournament.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, you could totally tell who was there for the pinball tournament and couldn't give a shit about Q, and the people who didn't give a shit about pinball and were there for Q.
Yeah.
Because
the room was kind of like divided in half. Like the people who were there for Q were following Q around.
Yeah, and he was like playing pinball with like a couple kids and stuff. But then there was like a whole other side of people just playing pinball and like super into it, and they didn't care about anything else going on.
It was awesome because Q was like really accessible. Like you could just it wasn't even like the cruise. Like the cruise they had security and stuff, but like you could walk right up to Q.
Yeah. He was super nice.
Yes.
And at first, people were trying to buy him drinks, and he was like, no, not right now. But then at the end of the night...
Oh, my God.
I literally heard him tell someone, I'm sorry, I can't drink that right now. Like, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And I was like...
He was lit.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, he was
lit. Yeah.
But he was still a lot of fun.
He was so sweet. Because... Well, he left for a little while. I assumed to probably eat lunch and to, like...
just relax.
Take a second to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really am not a drinker. I don't drink like that, but I was like, hey, I'm like kid-free in Chicago. I'm just like drinking beers.
She was throwing them back.
I was.
More than me.
I did. It was like opposite day.
Yeah, my anxiety kind of took a hold for a little while, and I had to have a moment to myself, and I finally got better. But like Ashley was knocking them back. Like,
well, I made a drunk friend. What happened was we were all in line waiting to meet Q again, and there was this drunk girl, and her friend was so obviously annoyed with her that she walked away. So, because I've had a couple beers, I'm like trying to counsel her, and I'm like telling her like, you need to stop drinking.
And I am over in the corner having my moment to myself, and I text Ashley, and I'm like, okay, Dr. Phil.
And then you're like, you ain't shit. Well, I sent her downstairs. I'm like, they have really good tater tots. You need to get you some tater tots, carb up a little, and then drink a bunch of water, and you'll be fine. I see her like 15 minutes later, and she's walking up the stairs with a beer. And I'm like, did you eat any tater tots? And she's like, I don't know.
And then like, at some point, this girl starts hysterically drunk girl crying.
She was a mess.
And Ashley takes her beer and takes it away from her and sets it on a random table. And then, like, the waitress comes by and she's like, dear Lord, please take this. Like,
I forgot about that. Well, the crazy part is we had people who kind of recognized us from, like, our little group on our podcast that were, like, trying to say hi. And I'm like, hi, yeah, it's nice to meet. I gotta go talk to this drunk girl because she's a mess.
Yeah, so if you did come up to us at the pinball tournament and Ashley was a little... That really kind of freaked Ashley out. Yeah. Me, I was kind of over it because Melinda found me on the cruise and was like, oh my God, hey, you're Tiffany. So I kind of already had that happen to me. So
I was like, oh, hi, person I don't know.
Yeah, Ashley's kind of weird. She won't be like that anymore.
No, yeah, you can come up and say hi, like, if you think that you know us.
It's the first time it's kind of like, we just do a podcast to have fun. Like,
yeah.
It
was, So I counseled the drunk girl. And she was waiting in line to meet Q, and then her friend came back, and then I started lecturing her friend, like, you don't leave people in Chicago. You don't leave them by themselves. You have to stay with your friend.
The mom, Ashley, came out.
Yeah, I was like, this is irresponsible and not a bad friend award. You got to stay with your friend. She was like, you're right. I'm going to stay with her right now. And then the girl was crying, and her friend was like, you're about to meet Q. She's like, I don't even care. I was like, oh my God.
In the meantime, I'm not even in line with you.
No, yeah, you got out of line. I stayed in line, and then...
I was having my own fun.
I know you were.
I was having... So Ashley, Terry, and Dan are all in line.
And I made them go first, because when I get around celebrities, I freeze up. Where I, like, feel like I can't even talk. But I did, after Terry and her husband went up, then I went up, and I talked to Q, and I
was photobombing people's pictures at the time.
No, but you took pictures, like, off... I didn't know. You were taking pictures of me meeting him.
Okay, yeah, time out. So, I get the Good Friend of the Year award.
You do.
Because this hoe was up there taking pictures, was talking to Q. And I'm in my corner, calming down, photobombing people's pictures. You guys, I'll give you one guess on whose photos I was photobombing. And if you can't figure it out, then you're going to have to ask.
Private message.
So anyway, I was photobombing someone's photos.
Yeah.
And you go up to talk to Q, and I'm like, I gotta get some pictures for my girl. She's gotta. So I'm just snapping away. In the meantime, she tells Q, I'm gonna give you a hug. He's like, okay. And then she knees to chest, runs around the table to hug him. And I'm like, oh my God. She just completely fangirled.
I did. I ran.
She didn't even run to the ice cream truck.
I don't know.
And
I don't.
She ran.
I ran.
Too cute.
I ran like I've never ran before.
So at this point, I finally get in line.
Real quick. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say a negative experience with Brian Johnson.
Oh.
But he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. What happened was, I think this is what was happening. People were there to see Q. Brian Johnson was there, and a lot of people either wanted to see Q's and they weren't really worried about anyone else, or maybe they just didn't know who he was. I don't know.
Some people were there to see Brian. You gotta remember, there were a lot of ant people there, so they were there to see Brian Johnson just as much as they were Q.
Well, Brian Johnson was right next to Q, so they had posters, and Q would sign it, and then he'd give it to Brian, and then Brian would sign it. Well, I walked over, and the first thing he said was, do you even know my name? And I had a few beers, so I'm like, do you know my name? It's Ashley. And he rolled his eyes, and then he signed, I'm Q's friend, Brian Johnson. And when he gave it to me, I'm like, okay, but I really knew who you were. So then I felt weird. I don't know. It just was, like, kind of weird for me. It doesn't help that I had been drinking, so I'm like, do you know who I am? Like,
I'm pretty much a big deal.
Yeah, a big deal around here. It was really weird. But you know what? Q was so nice because I was, like, talking to him about how I've come to see him in Toledo a couple times. We talked about the zoo and the amphitheater, and then going to Jackson to see his show and everything. And, you know, I'm sure, like, they get it all the time, but I'm like, your show helped me so much. Like, I've had major surgeries last year, and I've been through a lot, and, like, I was watching the show through it all. And then he was like, well, thank you. And I'm like, no, thank you. Oh, my God.
Leave it to Ashley to turn things awkward.
My whole life is awkward. It's fine.
Then at this point, I finally got in line.
Yeah.
And
you wanted to be like one of the last people.
Yeah, because I did bring him a fire department shirt.
Right.
So I wanted, you know, kind of time to talk to him or whatever. So I kind of wanted to be one of the last people. So I go up and I go to talk to him.
I was very nicely repaying you back, and I was taking pictures and recording.
Yes. So we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So I go up.
Oh, I know where you're going.
And all you people who listen to What Say You, you know, guess who was there? Oh, Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's. So I walk up to Q. And
I was like pep talking him, like, do it. You're gonna get him. He's been drinking. You're gonna get him.
So I walk up to Q and I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, you'll never guess who I'll see here. And he's like, all excited, he's like, who? And I go to say Dave Thomas, and he says it with me, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch!
You hit him!
Yes, I punched him in the arm!
I know, I have the video. You said, oh, and hit him!
And he was so good about thought he was laughing. He was like, yeah, it's a fun game. He's like, I will tell you almost got me.
Yeah.
But whatever, so I didn't get him. I'm still going to try to get Sal on the cruise.
You got to keep trying. That's the fun of the game.
Yes, I'm going to try to get Sal. Well, now you can't do it for a long time. I believe it's like a whole year you can't do it or whatever. So
it'll be a year by, well, not quite a year.
No, but I haven't tried to get Sal yet. So.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, so Q was really fun about it. We talked about that for a second. And then we had a moment.
You held hands while you talked. And I took 50,000 pictures of him grabbing your hand. And I was like, oh.
Q and I were talking about firefighting. And we were just kind of reminiscing, sharing war stories.
He was so sweet because he was like, oh, I miss it so much.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking about it. And talking about, like how... Okay, so what do you guys do when you pull up on scene? How does it work for you guys? We're just kind of exchanging stories and stuff like that. And he says, at some point, he grabbed my hand. Yeah. And then we started talking about, like, PTSD and first responders. And, we kind of were talking about that and how much easier it is to talk to another first responder and yada, yada. So we were... and Ashley was wonderful. She was getting video. She was snapping pictures. But I didn't even know that he, grabbed my hand until you showed me.
I was like, look, I got him holding your hand. You're like, what? I'm like, look at I had a whole, as far as you could scroll of him holding your hand. I'm like, I'm sending them all to you.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. So
it was a sweet moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gave him the shirt. He was really excited about the shirt. And he said that he does get a lot of fire department shirts, so he just kind of has a pile, and he just kind of goes through them. He's like, the shirt that I gave him was customized to him, had his last name on the back. So he's like, this is going to the top of the pile.
I hope. That would be so cool to see
for
him
those of you who listen, Q now has 2 of our fire department shirts.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout.
That would be so cool to see.
I'm going to freak out. Yeah. And then we had the moment where we were talking to him about the podcast. He already knew about the podcast.
That was super exciting.
He's like, oh yeah, I know this. He's all excited.
I know.
And that's when he was like, let's send them a video.
I know.
And that's when we got the video.
I'm here with Tiffany and Ashley.
Oh my god.
I watched it 50,000 times when I went home.
I want to say hello to the podcast crew.
He was so drunk.
But the fact that he knew that we were doing this, it's out here.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Yes.
Because, ultimately we do it for fun. And to, have a second laugh about it. But it's cool to know that, we're kind of out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, keep up the good work, people who are listening. Spread the word. We're a little wild.
Invite your friends.
Yeah, we're a little wild than most people probably want.
Whatever.
And then...
when I thought you paused it, and I went and screamed I am mad at you.
So then, the night pretty much wound down after that.
Yeah. We went and got some Chicago-style pizza.
Yeah. It was kind of winding down. The pinball tournament was over. Mm-hmm. We were going to see if Q and Brian were going anywhere afterwards, but then we were just kind of, done with it. It had been a long day.
We had spent all day. Literally all day there. And it was just kind of getting to the point where it's okay. Yeah. Kind of want to just get back to the hotel and hang out.
Exactly. It's not like the cruise where they're stuck. There was nothing really to keep us entertained other than watching people play pinball. So... Right. We go get some Chicago-style pizza, hang out. We're going to go get in the pool. Pool closes later.
We walked with our pizza boxes.
Through the gym.
Through the gym with people working out. And we're just like, it's about to close. Never mind.
So then we go back to our rooms, and I got in the wonderful shower. Oh.
It was everything a girl could dream of.
And then the next morning...
This is what happened. I got a migraine. And I don't know if people out there, if you've never had a migraine, they're awful.
Yeah, I get them.
There are a bunch of different symptoms for different people. Mm-hmm. Some people get tunnel vision. Some people get, I don't get too much of that. I get really bad light sensitivity and I get very I can't say it. Nauseated.
Yes.
Okay. What am I, having a stroke right now? So,
and that's what I get when I have migraines. I have every symptom of a stroke.
Well, I get that sometimes too. And the funny thing is, we talked about it on the way to Chicago. Yeah. About how bad migraines we get. So it's funny that we wake up the next morning and I'm like, I think I have a migraine. And I'm like, I can feel the nausea coming, but I'm in denial about it. And I'm like, I know it looks like I'm hungover right now, but I honestly only had 3 or 4 beers.
Probably 4, yeah. 5 maybe at the most. Yeah.
Okay, that's not gonna give me a freaking hangover. No. I'm not that bad.
You weren't even drunk.
No, I was just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I take a shower, and when I come out of the shower, you have the blinds ripped open.
Our hotel was right on the water, so I was looking out the window.
You were having a special moment to yourself, and then I just had my face shoved into a pillow.
Well, in the meantime, while you were in the shower, I went and got you some Starbucks.
She did get me some caffeine, and then you tried to overdose me on Advil.
It was Motrin.
Okay, you tried to give me 10, and I was I can't think straight because my head hurts so bad.
Time out. Can we correct this so people don't think that I do this as a job and then I'm trying to overdose you? So I was like, is this too many? And you took 3 away. I was trying to give her 4. I was trying to get her up to 800 milligrams of Motrin was what I was trying to do. And I dumped too many in her hand and I just kind of walked away and she's like, wait. Can I take this many? And I'm like, it's 4, Ashley. She's like, no, there's 10 here. I'm like, oh, so I take.
Well, side note, I have medication for migraines, but I didn't think for one night to bring the medicine. I have anti-nausea medicine and for the actual pain.
Right.
Didn't bring it. So I'm sitting there. Oh, that's when you were like, I'm going to go get you something to drink, I think.
But you were already in the shower when I left to go
Well, you had to leave again because I was like, I'm going to throw up. And you were walking out as I ran to the bathroom and started puking.
Oh, maybe that was when I went to you the Starbucks.
Because I puked up Chicago-style pizza.
Okay,
which is not pleasant. So I'm like, okay, we have to go meet Terry and her husband in the lobby. So I'm putting on sunglasses because all bright lights hurt.
Right.
I'm like, I know I'm walking through this hotel looking super hungover right now, but I don't even care. My head hurts so bad. So we get down there, and you're speaking for me. You're like, she's got a migraine. I gave her, you're giving them a rundown of my history. I gave her some medicine.
I'm giving a report at the hospital.
I know, you were. You're like, she did puke.
She did have some emesis.
Yeah.
She's currently got 800 milligrams of ibuprofen on board.
You're like, yeah.
She rates it at an 8 out of 10 pain.
It was bad. So then I get to the car and I close my eyes. I'm like, I'm not even going to pay attention to anything right now. I just need to I sleep a lot when I have a migraine. So I'm like, okay, I have 4.5 hours to sleep this off. I need to.
Right.
Well, you guys decided you were hungry.
And I felt bad.
Well, and I think you guys were like, do you care if we get food? And I'm
right.
like, go get food. I don't care. So we go to a McDonald's and it has one of the 2-lane drive-thrus. We're in the left lane. And as we're pulling up for Terry to order, I'm like, I'm going to puke again. It's it's coming. It's happening.
So I'm like, Ashley, stick your head out the window.
I opened the door and puked Mountain Dew and water.
So I got to my right, this guy who's in the other drive-thru line, eyes as big as saucers, watching Ashley puke outside the car.
Terry's just ordering her
real
food.
MVP. She is ordering our food like a fucking champ.
She was.
She was
the MVP.
And I'm sitting here watching Ashley with my hands on my hips, watching her puke outside the car.
Well, I'm puking and I hear, okay, then I need 2 burritos, and then I puke again. Okay, 2 Egg McMuffins, and I'm like, this is not happening.
And the whole time I'm thinking, God, this bitch is puking with class. It was not dramatic like the whole...
No, I didn't even make noise.
It was none of that. I could just see her body, expanding when she was, heaving and then release when she's, throwing it up, and I'm like... I have never seen somebody puke no noise. You couldn't even hear it hitting the ground. Let
me tell you something. You said after I was done, you're like, you were a classy puker. And my head hurt, but I was like, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Yeah, I was totally impressed.
You were.
It wasn't, sloppy or anything. She stuck her head out the window, and I'm like, God, if I puke, it's all like... But her, it was just
Well, and I didn't have time to be embarrassed because I felt so awful. I wasn't embarrassed till the next day where I'm like, oh my God, I really did that. But the best part was, I'm laying there oh my God, my head hurts so bad. We get to get the food, and they screwed up the order. And Terry's husband, Dan, got mad. Was like, no, we're just leaving. So I'm getting hyped up because everyone else is mad. So I'm like, that's why I puked in your drive-thru. We just leave. But I did start to feel better.
So then we had Panera.
We stopped at Panera. I got a strawberry smoothie that saved my life, really.
You're welcome.
I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it changed me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I think that's our whole story.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty uneventful after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. And we are going back for Sal's show in June.
I'm so excited.
So
no puking this time. I'm going to take my migraine medicine.
And Ashley and I will be on the cruise. If you guys haven't heard, we'll be on the cruise.
Yep.
We're hoping to do a couple episodes on the cruise.
I would love that.
So, we're going to see how we can work this, but we'd love to, have some of you on the podcast and just kind of talk about the cruise. So,
that would be so much fun.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. People want to hear their name and stuff. It's fun.
So, we have to do, we're going to do some stuff with that. Cooking with Jiggy. Still got to get some more tickets sold so we can sell it out.
Yeah, join our Facebook group.
Yep. Let's see what else we got going on. We'll have 2 episodes to break down. That'll be coming up in another episode.
Yep. Or we can just release this one today.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We'll do. So, and then, of course, Slappy Joe will be back.
Yep.
Fat Crow will be back.
Yep.
We're working on some other we got about
we're really trying to hustle for you guys to get, some fun people.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, the guys... Not just the actual 4 main members, but the whole crew, they're all so busy.
Yeah.
That there's been some that have been we want to be on it, but then when we're trying to work it out, it's they're so busy. It's hard. So we don't fault them for that at all.
Clearly, Jiggy will be back because we're going to do a live podcast of the Cooking with Jiggy.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And in about a half an hour, Ashley and I are going to get a very important phone call.
Yeah.
So,
I might freeze again.
I know. We got enough books and proofs of purchase that we're getting ready for a FaceTime call with Mur at 2 o'clock.
I gotta go put makeup on.
So, Ashley's son is home, and he's a big fan of the funny jokers.
He calls them, he's 5, he calls them the funny jokers.
And so, he has no idea that we're gonna get a phone call from Mur. So,
he's gonna be so excited.
Yes. We'll see if we can get Mur to join our page. We'll just give it a shot.
Yeah.
See what happens.
We'll just ask.
So let's just throw it out there now. If he does join our page, please do not tag him in 50 million things.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to blow up his phone. I'm pretty sure he's got his notifications. He has to.
Yeah.
But just, if he should,
Ever join.
Right. Just anybody should ever join of that statue. Jiggy, whoever. Let's just not.
Let's not.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
Let's just have the same fun we always have.
Right.
And, let's just say now if there's an issue on the page, if Mur should be in our group, you guys don't need to message Mur. Yeah. Ashley and I can handle it. We have how many other admins? There's Holly, there's Pat, there's Michelle. Right. You have Terry as a moderator, Meg as a moderator, Amy as a moderator. You can message any of us, and we'll be happy to take care of it.
Right. We just want to have fun.
Yes, you guys are awesome. We never really have any drama on our page.
No.
We never really have to kick anybody out. We tease people about twat language, but you guys really haven't crossed the line that we're like, whoa.
I've deleted 1 comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've blocked 1 person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not... You guys are... The page pretty much runs itself.
I know, you guys are all awesome.
So, Ashley, before we go, for our new people, why don't you give them a definition of twat language so when we start flagging them for twat language, they're not like,
If you see a red siren from me, it means that you are talking about Impractical Jokers in a physical way. If you're going on about how hot they are, sexy, or whatever, I'm going to put that red siren up. It doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means I'm calling you out.
It's really just done in fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
You'll see Terry calls it on herself all the time.
She does. She takes care of it for me.
Yeah, Holly does. So it's not really a big deal. It's just us having fun with you guys.
You guys could red siren each other.
Yeah. It's just all meant to be fun. It's not really... Nobody's going to get in trouble for it or anything like that.
No, we're all adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the biggest, most important thing is we want you guys to be able to have your own opinions about things and just be able to be yourself. I know there's other groups out there that totally don't allow that, but this is not one of them.
Yep.
So, anyways, Ashley and I are going to go get ready for the phone call from her. Ashley's going to try to make herself look presentable.
I'm going to have to tape her titties down.
Yeah, I am totally giving her the titties.
No, you're not. No.
I am giving her the titties.
She's not.
I am. So anyway, this is one of our episodes that we have to do today.
Yeah.
So we have 2 more to do, which will be fine.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
So anyway, we will be back with you guys shortly. So Ashley, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, and the best of health to you.
God bless.